From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, God.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning in to the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's in every kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No! I am your host. Write down our telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. So I'm watching an NBA game between the San Antonio Spurs and the Phoenix Suns. You know me, I've got the titanium package from DirecTV. I've got every channel there is. Of course, you didn't need the titanium package to see this game. But I'm just obsessed with watching sports on TV because I could see everything. Are you kidding me? Rugby, cricket, you name it, it's all there. Every boring soccer match, it's all there. Everything. So I happen to be watching the San Antonio Spurs and the Phoenix Suns, and that was quite a game, by the way. Very, very enjoyable to watch. A lot of fun. And then I'm noticing something. I'm noticing, and maybe you saw this, I'm noticing on the jerseys of the two teams, they have changed the jerseys of these two teams. Did you see that? Yeah, the two teams changed their jerseys for the day. It said Los Spurs and Los Suns. And then a little patch on the uniform told you that it was Noche Latina. It was, you know, Latin night. By the way, the game was being played during the day, as far as I could tell, but that's beside the point. Now, that's not the first time I've seen something like this. A couple of years ago, I turned on a baseball game and I saw Barry Bonds at the plate. He's wearing the uniform of his team, the Gigantes. Now, we have a large and loyal audience of people from just about every Latin American country, including largely Mexico. And our audience here in L.A. alone is over 40% Hispanic. And I have talked about my feelings about Latinos on this program many times. I have said point blank, if you don't love Latinos, if you don't love Mexican people, you don't belong in Southern California because they are the fabric of Southern California. They are. And many other places as well, like San Antonio, Texas, and others. They are the fabric. I have told you that I only date Latinas. I have rarely been seen with a woman who is not. I have told you that I believe this is the most loyal part of our audience. And we have done promotions together, and we have hung out together, and I see you guys in public all the time. So you understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place of love and caring and being part of a community that I enjoy the fact that we're all here together. I love it. So I hope you won't interpret anything I'm saying as being negative. In fact, personally, I tend to think that this stuff is insulting. I mean, just exactly how does putting Los Spurs on a jersey suddenly make the NBA more interesting to people of Hispanic descent? I don't get it. It's just blatant pandering. I would imagine you could get a lot more fans by having a day where tickets are half price. So people with large families can come watch an NBA game. I mean, you have to wonder, because most people I know who are Latino are working people, and they have a larger than average family, and going to an NBA game is tremendously expensive. Tremendously expensive. It's outrageous. And I don't know a whole lot of Latinos who can afford to go to a basketball game in any city. So I find this just blatantly insulting. Well, here's how we're going to get Latinos. We're going to say Los Suns on the uniform. Like, what are you talking about? This is just plain stupid. Or Barry Bonds playing for the Gigantes. Come on. That's outrageous. That is supposed to get Latinos to feel better about baseball? Now, I am wondering, that's why this hour I want to talk to Latinos only, okay? I mean, I imagine there are other ways that sports could market to Latinos. One of the ways that some teams do it successfully is by having broadcasts in Spanish, which I think is fantastic. If there's enough of a radio or TV audience that somebody can make money on that, I think that's a great way to do it. I think some of the entertainment at ballparks has been changed somewhat so that it isn't so white bread in the 1970s. I think that's good. But it sounds, by the way, Vin Scully is my idol. To me, in the broadcasting business, there's a pyramid, and we're all down here somewhere in the middle of the pyramid, and then at the very top, right below the eye, there's Vin Scully at the top of the pyramid. Understand that I worship the ground he walks on. Meeting him for 30 seconds, one of the great thrills of my life. I will tell you, you have your idols, I have mine. Hearing him promoting the Dodger promotion called Viva Los Dodgers, it is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Come on. You got to be kidding me. So I'm wondering if these little pandering efforts by Major League Sports make you, as a Latino, feel better about the teams or about the leagues than you felt before. And here in Southern California, Latinos love the Lakers. They didn't have to put Los Lakers on the jersey. They didn't have to do it. And I'm just wondering how people... I'm just wondering. I have to know. Because I watch this stuff and I cringe. I'm like, I am embarrassed. It's like, what? What geeky little white PR guy came into the office and said, hey, I know what the Hispanics are like. Let's call them Los Red Sox for a day. Who came up with this stupid idea, and does it really work? We will talk to Latinos coming up and find out.
Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
So you don't believe that marriage could be happy? You don't believe that it could bring people happiness?
I think there's people who jump from an airplane and they're happy, at least till they hit the ground. Feels like you're flying.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Boys, I think I'm on your side on this, okay? I'm watching the Suns and the Spurs NBA game on TV, and oh, yes, it's Noche Latina. And what do? They Uniforms of the team say Los Spurs and Los Suns. Oh, come on. George on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
How's it going, Tom?
Going okay, George.
I'm a Latino right here in Los Angeles, and I really don't go to the games. And, you know, these companies, they're trying to always target these demographics, you know. The beer companies, cigarette companies, these teams, and they don't give nothing back to the community. They're just always patronizing these everybody. You know, they think we're stupid. I personally don't go to the games because they're a bunch of overpriced drug addicts, you know. They're not role models for anybody. You know, we put a lot of money into these teams, into these advertisements, and they don't give nothing back to anybody.
Well, let's say you like the product. And by the way, I don't think the Lakers have drug addicts or anything like that, but all right, fine. Do you think this method of marketing is effective?
No, not for somebody that's, you know, semi-educated. It doesn't work. I mean, I personally don't go to the games or support any of these companies because they never give anything back. You know, they should be the other way around. They should be boycotted for doing that. It's an insult, you know, as a Latino. You know, they don't give anything back. All these, like Corona, Budweiser, they always have all these slogans, Viva Corona, you know, support all this, but they never give anything back.
Well, how about, you know, I think a good promotion, honestly, there's no doubt about it that Latino families are larger than the average American family. How about having a night where a family of 5 or more gets in for half price? That would be a good marketing effort, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Or for free. You know. Well,
you're never going to see free. That's never, ever going to happen. But how about you give it away for a lot less than you normally charge for it?
Yeah. But, I mean, you never see them. I mean, they spend millions of dollars on campaigns or marketing for these demographics, but you never hear them say we're going to give back to the community, do positive things. You know, right now they're going to lay off thousands of teachers, and that's going to affect a lot of Latino communities. And I would support them if they would support us, but they don't, you know. And I'm from Mexico, but I was raised here. I'm not a Chicano. I'm a Latin, you know, from Mexico.
Yeah.
And I'm bilingual, and I know what's going on. And, you know, to me, it's just an insult, big time, you know. So they should really think about what they're doing or saying, because sooner or later, you're going to have somebody challenging them on their marketing strategies. What are they doing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, what are they? By the way, what are they going to call the Heat on Latino night?
Huh?
What are they going to call the Miami Heat on Latino night?
I don't know. I don't really watch sports too much, to be honest with you, you know.
Or the Utah Jazz, because there's a big Latino community in Utah.
You know, and I'm glad, you know, you know what you're talking about, because I just turned the radio on, and when you said what a white guy would think of it exactly, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, coming from a Caucasian, you know, that's pretty good. You know what you're talking about.
Well, I've lived in L.A. for 20 years, and I've lived in parts of the U.S. that are largely Hispanic for most of my life.
Yeah.
And you either know people or you don't. You either live around people and get to know them and know how they feel, or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they spend too much money on these, you know, sports. It's way overrated. Way overrated. There's never any positive role models. You know, out of how many people get to make it to professional sports, unless you're white, you know, or you come from the Dominican Republic. You know?
Well, and not a lot of white people in the NBA last I looked.
Well, you know, who's the head coaches, you know?
Well, that's a whole other story. George, thank you for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Mike on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
What's up, Tom? What's going on?
Not much, Mike.
So, yeah, man, about that Lowe's on there, come on. I personally think, you know, growing out here in, you know, SoCal and everything, I just think that's a little absurd, you know. I mean, I think
it's insulting, isn't it?
It is. I mean, they do it for basketball because obviously they know that they have a large Latin, you know, following. What about, for example, the King, like LA Kings, the hockey team? I mean, I'm sure they're not going to do it for them because what are they? You know, they won't pull people. I mean, I just think it's kind of insulting in a way, you know. And what for? I mean, like you said, what are they going to call the Heat? You know, well, Utah. I mean, really.
And by the way, I might add, here's another reason it's insulting, because no team has the word "the" on their jersey. Not in Mexico, not in Puerto Rico, not in the Dominican Republic, not anywhere.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, even though it was a one-day thing, it's unnecessary. Come on. I mean, if you already have if the fans were already there before that, you know, what's the chance? I mean, sure, you might get a couple hundred, a couple thousand at most, you know. But really, I mean, if you're a fan regardless of what it says, you know. And just putting that, I mean, I was tripping out last night when I was watching the game. I mean, Los Spurs and Los Suns, my friends were like, you know, what's up with that? It's kind of stupid, don't you think? You know,
it is stupid, and I say insulting and even offensive.
It is. I mean, what is it? I mean, Los. I mean, what about other races when it comes to like, let's say like Arabic Day? What are they going to call it then? You know, or you know, when it's like, you know, some sort of like, you know, African Day or, you know, African American month, so you're going to call it some Swahili, you know? And who's going to put the on their jersey? It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, I mean, that's my point of view on it. You know, I've been a fan, you know, so okay, I've hung out with you at the Chairman's Room over at the Kings game, you know, and it's like, it's just, you know, it's unnecessary, and what for, you know?
I agree with you, Mike. Thank you for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. I'm talking only to Latinos this hour to find out how they feel about these Latino promotions, like calling the Suns and the Spurs Los Suns and Los Spurs. Mariano on the Tom Leykis show. Hello. Mariano?
Hey, Tom. Sorry about that, Tom.
Sure.
Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for taking the call. Real quick, I am from Dallas, Texas, that area. And personally, I think it is insulting. And just to say, the only team that I have seen that has been successful with this has been the Dallas Cowboys. And they did not have to change their name to Los Vaqueros. But what do? They often host a game down in Mexico City.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, you know, and you know, Jerry Jones, he knows his marketing right there. He knows that, you know, Latinos are the people here in Texas, and we love our football, and we love our Cowboys. But you do not see Los Vaqueros anywhere.
Yeah. Plus, there's at least a certain number of Mexicans or Mexican-Americans playing football, unlike the NBA.
That is correct. And many of them have played for the Cowboys. You know, Casillas and a few others, you know.
Yeah.
Look at Tony Romo right now, you know.
I mean, even Major League Baseball doesn't have that many Mexicans play.
That's true. That's true. So. But, Tom, that's all I had time for, so I'm sorry I'm cutting it short. You have a good show. Have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. Marco on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
How you doing, sir?
Doing great.
Hey, I guess it depends on the organization that does it. Me, I live in L.A. They do it with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Concert, you know, family night thing. So, I mean, I guess it depends on the organization that does it. I mean, that's, because some just probably just do it just for the sales. But, I mean, the Dodgers, they have been in the community, so I go see them. I mean, the way they do it, I have no problem with them. So...
Even when you hear Vin Scully saying, "Camina, viva los Dodgers." I mean, doesn't that sound uncomfortable for him?
Well, I mean, it's just, at least they, you know, they still have Fernando, you know, that still represents, you know,
yes,
you know, there. And a big part that people that go see the Dodgers is Latino or Mexican.
Oh, no doubt about it.
So at least they recognize it's a recognition that they recognize that Latinos go see them. I don't know what they do over there with the Spurs and Phoenix, but, you know, as far as, like, I guess it would depend on our organization, you know, how they communicate with the community or what they do in that area. I mean, personally with the Dodgers, I mean, I don't really mind that. But,
see, you know what? Here's what I think ought to happen. I think the Angels... You know, the Angels, you notice, never have the name of the city on their jersey. It just says Angels. Home jersey, away jersey. Here's how they get the name Los Angeles onto their jersey. Just say it's Latino night. We're just putting the name of the team on there. No. That's not the city. That's the name of the team. See, then they wouldn't have to get worried about being sued by the city of Anaheim or anything. They just put Los Angeles on their jersey and then say it's Latino night. Other than that, it wouldn't make sense for any of these teams, I don't think. Danny on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Tom, what's going on?
Not much, Danny.
I agree with you when you say that there's probably some dorky little white guy in the marketing office putting together his marketing strategy. and unfortunately, that's how most of these corporate companies work. You, on the other hand, understand the scheme. You understand things. I listen to your show a lot, and there's always constantly Latino listeners, and it's because you understand. You take the time to understand, to get to know your demographic, to get to know the market, and I think that's what it is that's turning the Latinos off. You put this Los Suns on a jersey, and I think that's somebody's attempt at being thankful for the Latino fans, when in reality it's embarrassing and it's degrading at the same time.
Yeah. In the meantime, how often do the players actually come to Latino communities to make appearances?
Absolutely.
How often do they have events in Latino communities? You know, we have found, look, we do marketing and advertising, but we have found that just finding out what the audience likes to do, no matter what their background is, and then going out and doing it with them, whether it be doing Cinco de Mayo in the City of Industry and having guys come to Camachos, or going out and just hanging in certain neighborhoods, or doing certain kinds of promotions where anybody can hang, but you pretty much know that everybody is welcome. And in fact, the majority of people at our events are Latino.
Exactly.
But we don't pander. You know what I'm saying? It's the pandering. It's the, bending over backwards in this very uncomfortable way. People who just look like this kind of thing is, it's painful for them. Well, we have to appeal to this audience. We have to do something. And they don't even know what to do.
Right, exactly. And that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and market to all the markets. I mean, that's what corporate business is. Get your name out there, do what you got to do. But you got to put somebody in that position that understands the market. Don't just put some guy in with a couple bars and graphs and can figure out that all you got to put a Mexican on a Wheaties bottle and you're going to on a Wheaties box and you're going to sell Wheaties. That's not how it works.
It's absolutely true. Hey, thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it.
Got it.
1-800-5800-TOM. Louis on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Actually, I was calling because if they're going to show that on TV, why don't they just do it the right way and actually say Los Soles and Las Espuelas, which is actually in Spanish, and not having it as Los Suns and Los Spurs.
The reason is probably because most NBA jerseys have very short names on them.
Okay.
And I'm not defending what they did. I think you're right. I think that would make more sense than what they did. But you rarely see, like even the Seattle Supersonics, who have the longest name, I think, in basketball. It just says Sonics.
Right.
Or the Portland Trailblazers. It just says Blazers.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a couple of, Latinos actually playing in the NBA, but just a Mexican descent that I know of is Nájera, who actually plays for the Denver Nuggets.
Right.
And, the other ones are more European.
Or they're from South America.
Right. Brazil.
Brazil and Argentina. Right.
Right. So, well, that was my take on that.
Well, thank you. I certainly can. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Here is Tom on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
Hey, since when did Latinos get into basketball?
Have you looked around here in L.A. at all?
Yeah, I have. I'm a minority now.
You have a problem with that?
Well, a little bit.
Maybe it's time you left for, like, Utah or Idaho or somewhere like that.
Yeah, maybe Montana.
Time for you to go, get yourself a couple of shotguns.
Yeah, maybe.
Just in case any brown folks decide to cross your path.
Yeah, let's just keep it L.A. Lakers. How's that?
Well, they pretty much have done that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope they don't say Los Lakers. Los Lakers. Okay, take me out Kobe style.
Boy.
This is about us. She's so special to me. Yeah, it beats in my heart. Yeah, the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
Jesus Christ. 1-800-5800-TOM. We're talking Latinos only. That guy wasn't Latino, though. Was he? Dean? That last caller. Was he Hispanic? I don't think so. All right. So you put him on because he was just an abject racist and you knew I'd have my way with him? All right, just make sure he's like, you know, the only one. We're trying to do Latinos here. That's the purpose. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Fernando on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, how are you, Tom?
Great.
I think it does work.
You do?
Yeah. Well, obviously I'm Latino. One, we're speaking about it. They're getting promotion. That's number one.
But we're not saying anything good about it.
But we're talking about it. And, you know...
You could then say steroids is a good promotion for baseball because everyone's talking about it.
Hey, the old saying is, as long as they talk, it's a good promotion.
I'm sure Elliot Spitzer doesn't feel that way.
I'm sure he doesn't. The other thing is, I don't think people, I mean, Hispanics are not going to, I'm not going to get offended. I know a couple of callers have said that they're offended. I think they're just trying to play your side. But people are just going to say, oh, you know, it's low, so it's kind of cute. I mean, they'll go, okay, it's going to create some goodwill. And people will just think it's a nice thing.
I'm surprised that people would think that creates goodwill because I don't think it's doing anything. I think, you know, there's other ways to create goodwill that would be a little more imaginative than that.
I agree, but at least they're trying. You know, where other businesses and other sports and other people are not even trying to reach the audience. And it might not be the best strategy. I agree, but at least they're trying. So I do think it does help a little bit.
Okay. Well, Fernando, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Renee on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hola, Tom.
Hola, Renee.
How's it going, Tom?
From El Show de Tom Leykis.
Phenomenal. Listen, I have a little thing to say about that. Fernando just called in and, you know, he said it was a good thing. You know, to be honest with you, I was watching the game and I saw the jersey and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, wait a minute. Los Spurs, they just put on Los Spurs and that's it. And it's supposed to get your attention. After that, I was like, wow, I'm going to turn this game off. I can't watch it anymore. I just couldn't believe that.
You'd probably do better to put the name of the city the Spurs are from.
Yeah, San Antonio would have been nice, you know. I mean, or like the other caller was saying, they should put the real name like Espuelas or Soles or like the Lakers Laguneros, you know, right? But they just stuck Los, and I was just like, wow, that's pretty bad. And then I just turned off the game, and I was just like, they just think that by sticking the in Spanish, people are going to be like, oh, I feel so good now that I'm a Mexican or that I'm Latino. They really care. No, they have to turn that game off. Honestly, I felt a little insulted. And you're right, it was probably like one of those Caucasians that just thought about, hey, put Los, it's going to work.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost it. Well, a couple of uniforms. That's it. Hey.
Yeah. I'll be surprised. Well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they put that jersey online and think that people are going to start buying it. I want Los Spurs, my customized. I would really. You know what? Actually, I'm probably going to do that later on while I'm in class. I'm going to go on the Spurs website and see if they have Los Spurs jersey available.
I'll bet they do. Did you ever see Barry Bonds wearing his Gigantes jersey?
I remember that. That was another thing. I was just like, oh, man, what's going on? I mean, people who are interested already. Like, all the majority. I mean, I'm Mexican, and all my family, whether they're from over there or whether we're born here, they're all Laker fans regardless. And you don't see the Lakers putting those Lakers on to get your attention, you know?
I agree with you. Thanks a lot for the call.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Women are the biggest snakes there are. So you might as well get what you can and get rid of them before you get bit.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show from Hollywood at 1-800-5800-TOM. We are talking about a promotion that's being done by various Major League sports teams. For one day, they change the uniform to say something like Los Spurs, Los Suns. Or my favorite, Gigantes. Come on, isn't this pandering? Isn't this insulting if you're Latino? That's who I want to talk to this hour. Latinos. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Alberto on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, what's happening, man?
Not much.
Well, nice to talk to you, man. It's a pleasure. Listen, yeah, Tom, I really do agree with you, man. It's pandering. It's really annoying. It is insulting. And, you know, at the same time, you know, I feel like the language itself is being, you know, degraded again. You know, I'm originally from Central America, and, you know, some of us guys were thinking, you know what, there's probably some Mexican-American guy educated in the United States who lost the nuance of the language, who's probably been hired by these advertising companies. You know, because we sometimes carry that mentality in terms of how Spanish is communicated in this country, especially when it's mixed with English. But, you know, that's just me. But honestly, I do agree. It is insulting, and, you know, I don't even know what's the point. It's not catching my attention, and it's a turn-off, and, you know, and I'm just wondering who the hell is coming up with these concepts.
Well, that's what we were talking about. You know, there's some geeky little white guy in the office.
It could be. You
I got an idea. We have to appeal to the Hispanics. We got to do something to bring in the Hispanics.
I really don't care. That's where I stand. You know, I mean, can you imagine Chivas, the Mexican soccer team, being called the GOATs? I mean, it's just not right.
Because
man.
they want to get Caucasian fans.
Whatever. You know, keep to the essence, to the spirit. The Lakers is the Lakers, and that's where I stand. And, you know, Tom, thank you so much for bringing up this topic. I mean, it's just really incredible, man. Thanks a lot, man. You take care.
You too. Thanks for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Frank on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
I'm okay, Frank.
Thank God. You know what? Everybody who's calling in and complaining about those Lakers, I mean, I was born in Mexico. I'm Mexican, not Latino, not Hispanic, not Chicano, none of that. And they're the same people who would be complaining if these companies never acknowledge their fan base.
I don't think that's true. You know what? You know who I think complains is the people who head up these so-called community organizations that supposedly complain on behalf of others. The equivalent of like Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or people like that who don't necessarily represent anybody but themselves.
That's true. But at the end of the day, what does it matter? It doesn't matter at all, is what I'm saying. I mean, these people, with me, I'm too busy trying to make a living to try to make a difference. It sounds like these people got too much time on their hands. That's all.
I'm just saying, if they didn't do this, would it make one difference? Would one less Mexican go to a game if they didn't do this?
Well, at the end of the day, Mexicans can't afford to go to the Lakers games anyway. They're broke. I mean, they got like 5 kids, you know, working $10 an hour. What Mexican, like Mexican, I'm not talking third, fourth generation Chicano who thinks he's a doctor because he's, you know, like whatever. And, cares about what the Lakers are doing when he's trying to put, you know, some beans and meat on his...
well, I know many Mexicans who care, but they care on watching Channel 9. They don't care going down to the game. They watch it on TV.
I guess you're right. That is free. But, hey, like I said, I just think these people got too much time on their hands, and they're jumping to agree with you. I just think that it doesn't make a difference. There's so many more issues in this world. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Frank, for the call. Lulu on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Like I was telling your screener, it's a matter of demographics. If they want to appeal to the people that speak Spanish and they don't speak any English and they want them to go to the Lakers, they're not going to listen to their Caucasian radio stations. They're going to listen to the radio stations that you were mentioning the other day when you were talking about the great ratings of your show.
Yeah.
They're going to listen to the Banda radio and all the Latino shows. And they're forgetting a minor detail. I know a bunch of Latinos that love the Lakers, and I can't remember his name right now, but he's like the Vince Cooley of the Lakers. He passed away not long ago.
Oh, you're talking about Chick Hearn.
Yes, he was a wonderful guy. Everybody listened to him on the radio, or even brought the radios when they were watching the Lakers at the Staples Center, and he never had to say a word in Spanish, but he was very gracious with everybody. Besides, there's a couple of Latino guys that I know that broadcast the Laker games in Spanish. So what you think is true. The guy who came up with this idea, it's a gringo that has nothing. He has no clue of how the Spanish language works. I
think you're right about that.
And the last thing I want to tell you, your comment about women and long hair is very true. I always speak with my husband. If you women has to, I think a woman, it's a matter of self-dignity, self-respect. You have to keep nice and good-looking, even if you have to be married for multi-million years. It doesn't matter. You have to keep yourself pretty and good-looking because it's part of who you are. If you let yourself go, then I don't blame if a husband leaves or goes for somebody else.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Tom.
Lulu, thank you for the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Juan on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hola, Tom.
Hola, Juan.
Hey, Tom. I just wanted to know that this actually is a bit offensive, only because, I mean, personally, I don't think they have to reach out to the Latino population. I mean, personally, I'm a Dodgers fan, and I know that my family's been following the Dodgers religiously forever. I mean, like, they follow the Virgin Mary, you know? But I'm just saying, like, if they really, really want to get more Latinos than they already have in the stadium, they should offer something like, I don't know, half-price beer, or maybe, like, buy one, get one free tickets or something like that. But I don't know. I personally do find it a bit offensive. And about the Vince Scully thing, I don't really mind it, only because the guy taught me how to speak English, man.
There you go.
Exactly, you see? And I just wanted to throw that out there. And can you take me out, let's see, with the streaming orgasm and a bong hit?
I certainly can.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
No cost.
1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Zane on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Yes, Tom. My comment was, I think it's more insulting because I'm pretty sure I work for a professional sports organization myself, and I've seen this before, where a lot of, like, some kind of Latino community outreach program or something like that came in, and they worked it out with both organizations to do this on game night. And the organization probably even gave them so many tickets so that they could give out, because it would be kind of pointless to do it when there's not a Latino in the crowd or whatever. I don't know which game this was or exactly where it was held or whatever. But to me, I just don't see how the NBA would take this upon themselves to just say, oh, let's just call this Noche Latina or whatever it is, without some kind of Spanish group that thinks that they know what Spanish people want or that they think they know what the Latino communities want, and actually push for this to happen. Because, like I said, I see it happening with a bunch of other organizations and stuff like that. And it's really ridiculous because these people speak for themselves. They're people that are out there doing pointless things to try to gain publicity for their own causes, when in reality it doesn't work. It only brings people down. So,
well, you might be right about that. You know what I'm tired of? Seeing those ball players playing with pink bats. Stop it. Please. And hockey players playing with pink sticks. Stop it. Holy cow. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. This is Carlos on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. What's going on, bro?
Not much.
Hey. First of all, you're the biggest Latino I know, bro. If you like soccer, you would be a complete Latino, but that's another top. Okay. Here's the deal. Do you remember when Sananita used to give Blanket Day?
Yes.
That was the biggest day of Mexicans on the track, man. I used to be at the turf club with all my friends, and all these Mexicans with a blanket on an 80-degree day. It was the biggest. And I used to tell them, man, don't take the blanket. The last time black people gave blankets, you know what happened? I swear, man. You know, I follow sports. I'm from South America, and, you know, you want to bring this to the game, hire more of these guys like Ginobili and more of these stuff, and we'll show up. We'll spend our money. We'll buy the jerseys. We are really loyal. sports fan.
Loyal in every way, for that matter. Carlos, I'm out of time, but thank you for the call.
The Tom Leykis Show.